Welcome to Season 2 of the More You Know Media and Tech Literacy series, produced by Independent Thinker, LLC. The More You Know Media and Tech Literacy series is a quarterly educational initiative that helps individuals and communities better understand the realities of today's digital ecosystem. In Episode 6, we cover the hidden cost of AI work-slop. We turn the mic to Tommy and Gina for an insightful discussion about this topic.
When you talk about adopting powerful new tools, there is usually this underlying expectation of a cognitive upgrade.
Right, exactly.
It's like handing a mathematician a high-powered calculator.
Right.
Suddenly, they're solving complex equations in seconds, and their brain is completely freed up to do the high-level creative genius stuff.
Heavy lifting.
Exactly. But then you look at what is actually happening right now with our adoption of artificial intelligence, and, well, that calculator metaphor completely shatters.
Oh, it falls apart completely.
Yeah, according to a recent MIT study, heavy reliance on AI is actually lowering our brain activity over time. The very tool that was explicitly designed to make us smarter and faster might be doing the exact opposite.
It is a brilliant paradox to start with, honestly. We are essentially trading cognitive engagement for convenience, and the neurological bill is coming due.
And that is exactly what we're jumping into today. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission today is to unpack the dual nature of our AI-saturated reality. And we've got two incredibly insightful sources to help us do that.
Yeah, really good ones today.
First, we have a transcript from the Female Quotient's Broadlines podcast, featuring digital culture expert Shira Lazar. And second, we are pulling from a media literacy brief titled The Gendered Frontier of Artificial Intelligence.
Both of which are just packed with wild insights.
They really are. So for you listening, whether you are a skeptic who has been holding out on using AI, or maybe you're an entrepreneur looking to scale your business, we're going to map out the exact pitfalls you need to avoid and, of course, point you toward the tools that could actually change your career.
We definitely want to give you the practical stuff.
Exactly. So let's start with the workplace. There is this term floating around for what AI is doing to our daily productivity, and it is just perfectly descriptive. It's called work-slop.
Work-slop. It just captures the aesthetic of the problem so flawlessly.
It really does.
I mean, think about the last time you received a 5-paragraph email that literally could have been one sentence.
Well, yesterday.
Right. Work-slop is basically AI-generated output that looks incredibly smart on the surface. It has all the right buzzwords, the formatting is pristine, it projects total confidence, but there's nothing there.
Exactly. When you actually read it, it has zero substance underneath. It is just the illusion of productivity.
And it is completely flooding our inboxes. I mean, that MIT study we mentioned, they surveyed U.S. employees between the ages of 18 and 39. And a staggering 40% of them reported receiving work-slop from a colleague in just the last month.
40%.
In 1 month.
Right. But here is the data point that should genuinely terrify any manager listening. MIT also found that 95% of organizations see no measurable return on their AI investments.
Which sounds completely counterintuitive, right?
Well, let's unpack this, because wait, if we're automating all this writing and research, how is there no measurable return? Where is the money actually going?
It is disappearing into what economists are now calling the review tax.
The review tax. Okay, explain that.
So you would think that automating a first draft saves you time, right?
Sure.
But what is actually happening is that employees are spending all their newly freed up time reviewing, untangling, and redoing this low-quality AI-generated work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It actually requires more cognitive load to parse through a convincing but, subtly flawed AI document to find the errors than it does to just write the document yourself from scratch.
Which totally explains the burnout. I mean, ActiveTrack, their productivity lab, they reviewed 443 million hours of work data.
Wow.
Which is, by the way, the equivalent of multiple human lifetimes spent just clicking and typing.
That is wild.
It is. And they found that while AI definitely increases an employee's capacity, that extra time isn't being used to rest or think deeply. It is immediately repurposed into doing more work.
More work-slop, usually.
Exactly. It feels like relying on AI for your first drafts is kind of like putting on one of those electronic muscle stimulating belts while lying in bed.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right. Sure, it makes the muscle twitch passively, but because you aren't actually actively engaging the resistance yourself, you are never going to build a healthy, strong core. So, I mean, are workers just inherently getting lazy? Or are they using AI as a survival instinct because they are just drowning in tasks?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it is absolutely a survival instinct, but we have to look at the mechanism driving it. Really, this is a massive failure in leadership and company culture.
How so?
Well, when leaders reward raw speed, scale, and efficiency over originality and actual perspective, work slop is the inevitable, completely rational result.
Because employees figure out what's being measured.
Exactly. They figure out that they get rewarded for output volume, not depth. Furthermore, from a neurological standpoint, there is something in psychology called the generation effect.
The generation effect.
Right. You remember and understand information far better if you generate it yourself, rather than just reading it. So when we outsource the brainstorming to AI, we skip that generation phase entirely.
Which is why that MIT study shows our brain activity dropping.
Precisely. We have to brainstorm first and then use AI to refine.
So the incentive structure is just completely broken. If the cultural norm is to just push out volume, we are fundamentally weakening our own critical thinking skills.
100%.
But, if we are producing and accepting this low-quality work slop in the office, doesn't that condition us to accept it in our personal lives? Because looking at the data on internet consumption, we are completely drowning in consumer slop outside of working hours, too.
We absolutely are. And that workplace laziness isn't happening in a vacuum. It bleeds directly into our feeds. The workplace work slop is just basically a micro-symptom of a broader internet that is engineered purely to hijack your attention. And because the marginal cost of creating this content has basically dropped to zero, we are seeing a terrifying rise in digital fraud. According to the cybersecurity company Vera, AI scams surged by 1,210% in 2025.
That number is it's staggering. I want to break down how that surge is even technically possible.
Yeah, it's important to understand.
Bad actors aren't just sending out, poorly translated phishing emails anymore. They're using large language models to spin up entire 1,000-page fake news websites in a matter of minutes.
Exactly.
So they create this massive corroborating ecosystem. That way, when they release a deepfake video, there were already 10 fake articles ready to validate it if you try to search for the truth.
That is the exact technological mechanism that makes this so incredibly dangerous, and we're seeing it infiltrate everyday pop culture. I mean, Zendaya actually had to go on national television to debunk hyper-realistic AI-generated wedding photos of her and Tom Holland.
I remember that.
Yeah, and there are deepfakes of Dr. Sanjay Gupta giving fake health advice.
Okay, the Broadlands podcast mentioned a phenomenon that really stuck with me, which was these hyper-realistic videos featuring AI nuns praying for the viewer.
Oh, yeah, the AI nuns.
And older generations are getting totally duped by them. But why nuns? What is the algorithm actually doing there?
So the algorithm is purely optimizing for engagement, and it has figured out that religious and emotional iconography exploits the highest engagement demographics.
Which is usually older folks.
Exactly. Older folks who are seeking connection or community on platforms like Facebook. The AI voices sound authentic, the cadence is perfect, and it just preys directly on their faith.
It feels incredibly predatory. So what is the defense against this? I know the European Union's AI Act operates on this philosophy that what is illegal offline should not be legal online.
Which is a great philosophy.
It sounds great in theory, but legislation takes years. In the meantime, platforms are pulling economic levers. Like YouTube has started demonetizing AI slop channels. If you kill the financial incentive, you stem the tide of the content. But for you, the listener trying to navigate this today, what is the practical defense? I mean, millennials were taught, don't believe everything you see online, but that was armor designed for early Photoshop and obvious Nigerian prince scams.
Yeah, totally different era.
What is the new digital armor for Gen Z or Alpha or Boomers who are trying to navigate a hyper-realistic, fabricated reality?
Okay, so the new armor is what digital culture experts call an AI literacy ecosystem.
Okay.
You can't just passively consume or blindly trust labels anymore. First, you have to verify off-feed. You cannot trust the platform's algorithm. You have to cross-reference with verified sites like PolitiFact or FactHub.
Makes sense.
Second, and this is crucial, you check the comments.
Wait, the comment section. Historically, the comment section is the most toxic place on the internet?
Oh, it really used to be.
Yeah.
But recently, the comment section has actually evolved into this amazing decentralized verification system. Yeah. Users are relying on each other to call out synthetic content. If something feels off, checking to see if a consensus of other users is flagging it as AI is a vital reflex now.
That's fascinating.
And ultimately, we really need to shift our cultural understanding. Instead of obsessively demanding that every single thing be labeled AI generated, we should normalize the concept of AI assisted.
Oh,
Think
okay.
about how society adapted to Instagram filters. At first, it was deceptive, but eventually we developed an eye for it and just accepted it as an aesthetic choice. We need to reach that same baseline of cultural literacy with AI.
That decentralized verification mechanism is so fascinating. We literally just have to look out for each other.
Yeah.
But, it's not just fake news articles or scams that are hijacking our attention. It is entirely fabricated people.
Yes.
And when we look closely at who these synthetic identities represent, a deeply troubling societal pattern emerges.
Yeah, and this brings us directly to the insights from the gendered frontier of artificial intelligence brief. The rise of virtual AI influencers is just a perfect case study in how new technology doesn't necessarily erase old biases. It simply automates and scales them.
And the scale is just massive.
Hmm.
A marketing platform called WO found that 40% of Gen Z follows a virtual influencer.
40%.
We are talking about accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers. There's an AI actress named Tilly Norwood. There are entirely fabricated AI moms posting gorgeous photos of their perfect, non-existent lives and offering productivity tips.
Right.
And people follow them, engage with them, and form genuine parasocial relationships with them as if they were real human beings.
But the gendered frontier brief highlights a really stark reality behind these accounts. A massive portion of these highly successful synthetic influencers are gorgeous, hyper-objectified women.
Yep.
And the data suggests they are overwhelmingly created by men.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the researchers in the brief raise a point that feels really jarring when you think about the utopian narrative the tech industry loves to sell.
Oh, definitely.
We are told AI is this cutting-edge, world-altering technology that will elevate humanity. Wait, so we have this cutting-edge, world-altering technology, and we are just using it to automate the 1950s male gaze at scale.
It is jarring. But technology has always been a mirror. Without intentional guardrails, AI simply replicates existing systems of visibility and objectification.
How does that actually work in the algorithm, though?
Well, here is how the mechanics of that bias work. Algorithms purely optimize for attention. Historically, accounts featuring objectified women drive massive engagement on social media.
Sad but true.
Right. So AI just removes the need for a real human woman to be involved. It creates a synthetic, idealized standard that real women are then forced to compete against in the attention economy, all while entirely leaving them out of the financial upside.
And they're being left out on the development side, too. The World Economic Forum's 2023 report shows that women make up only 30% of the global AI workforce.
Only 30%.
Yeah. If only 3 in 10 of the people building the architecture are women, the architecture is naturally going to reflect the biases of the dominant group.
Precisely, which is why legislative action is currently focused on consensual AI laws. There are bipartisan efforts right now, like the No Fakes Act, the Defiance Act, and the Clear Act.
Right.
And these are designed specifically to prevent the exploitation of people's likenesses, particularly women's likenesses, without their consent. We have to ensure that the digital frontier doesn't just become a mechanism for non-consensual exploitation.
It's a really heavy realization. We have these tools that can create literal magic, but they are being used to churn out work slop, scam our parents, and mass-produce objectification.
I feel like if I am listening to this, my first instinct might be to just throw my hands up and say, I am not touching this technology, which is a very natural reaction. But it would be a massive mistake for your future. Because despite these systemic biases and the very real dangers of exploitation, we absolutely cannot afford to turn our backs on AI.
Because of the flip side.
Exactly. The flip side of this technology holds immense barrier-breaking power, particularly for communities that have been historically left out or marginalized. When used intentionally, AI is the ultimate democratizer.
Let's look at the margins where this tech is actually being used for real empowerment. Because the accessibility wins here are genuinely breathtaking. The Broadlines podcast highlighted tools that are actively changing lives today.
Yes, some amazing stuff.
Like Be My Eyes, which gives visually impaired users real-time, AI-generated auditory descriptions of the physical world around them.
And look at what companies like 11 Labs are doing with voice cloning. They cloned the voice of actor Eric Dane, allowing patients with ALS, which for those who don't know, is a degenerative motor neuron disease where patients permanently lose muscle control, including their ability to speak. This allows them to communicate using a natural-sounding, expressive voice instead of a robotic text-to-speech synthesizer.
That is just incredible. And teachers are using AI to instantly generate personalized lesson plans tailored to a student's specific learning style, something that educators simply never had the manual bandwidth to do before.
It's a game changer for education.
It really is.
Yeah.
AI is being used to develop brain tech for degenerative diseases. This is where the technology stops being a novelty and becomes foundational infrastructure for human empowerment.
Absolutely.
And this democratizing force extends directly into the future of work, too. We are entering what tech experts are calling the vibe coding era.
Vibe coding. I love that term. The founder of a company called Lovable envisions a near future where a single person, armed with a great idea and the right prompts, can build a billion-dollar business entirely on their own.
Just one person.
Just one person. You don't need a massive team of engineers or millions in venture capital anymore. The AI democratizes the execution. You just have to supply the vision.
Digital culture expert Cindy Dovell points out that we are shifting into the freelancer era. We are going to rely heavily on autonomous AI agents to manage our professional lives. There's a tool called Claude Cowork that basically acts as your invisible chief of staff, handling background tasks, cleaning files, managing emails.
Yeah.
But I want to clarify how this is different from just, typing into ChatGPT. What is the actual mechanical difference between prompt engineering and what experts are now calling operational AI?
What's fascinating here is that this is the most important distinction for the listener to understand. Prompt engineering is conversational. You type a question, the AI gives you text, and you do something with that text.
Okay.
Operational AI is autonomous. You give an AI agent a goal, and it links with your APIs in the background. It goes into your email, reads the context, drafts the replies, organizes your files, and updates your calendar without you having to prompt it for every single step. It operates the software for you.
So what does this all mean for the listener trying to figure out their career path right now? It sounds like we are moving from being the line cook to the executive chef.
That is exactly it.
You aren't standing there chopping the onions or stirring the sauce anymore. The AI agents are doing the prep work. Your job is to become the project manager of those agents. You are designing the menu, tasting the dishes, and deciding what goes out to the dining room.
That analogy perfectly captures the required skill shift. The humans who succeed in this new economy won't just be the fastest we already established that just leads to work slop.
Right.
The winners will be the ones who bring actual human passion, a unique point of view, and original ideas to the table to direct the AI. The AI provides the scale. You have to provide the soul.
And there are incredibly empowering tools out there to help you do just that. If you are looking to build your AI toolkit, the sources highlight some amazing starting points. There's Alta, an AI stylist app founded by a woman.
Which is a great counter to that 30% representation stat we talked about.
Exactly. It's essentially like having a high-end personal stylist in your pocket that learns your preferences, kind of Clueless style.
I love that. And there is Canva AI and Gamma for generating instant, high-quality presentations without getting bogged down in formatting.
Huge time saver.
Opus Clip can take a long-form video and automatically chop it into optimized social media clips. Whisper offers far superior voice-to-text accuracy compared to standard phone dictation because it actually understands context and nuance.
And I really love the sound of Rosebud. It's an AI journaling app that is designed to support your mental health.
Yeah.
But the absolute best part about it is the underlying mechanism.
Yeah, the cutoff feature.
Exactly. It intentionally cuts you off after a certain amount of time so you don't over-rely on it.
Yeah.
Prompts you to reflect, and then it literally locks you out so you go back to living your actual life.
That is the exact model of healthy AI integration we need moving forward. Technology that supports our humanity without trying to replace it or monopolize our attention.
So to bring it all together, we are standing at this incredible crossroads. We have a technology that can literally drain our cognitive abilities by offloading our critical thinking into a puddle of work slop.
Yeah.
It can be used by bad actors to dupe our parents with praying nuns, and it can automate the objectification of women.
But simultaneously, it holds this North Star potential. It can democratize creativity, build massive single-person businesses, and give a literal voice back to those who have lost theirs.
For you listening right now, you have a choice to make today. You can either let AI use you by doom-scrolling consumer slop and taking lazy shortcuts at work until your unique skills atrophy.
Or you can stay curious, You can embrace the digital literacy ecosystem, verify your reality, learn the operational tools, and step up to become the executive chef of your own AI toolkit.
Which leaves us with one final thought to mull over. If we are truly entering an era where a single person can build a billion-dollar business by delegating all their tasks to a team of autonomous AI agents, what happens when your AI agents start negotiating, competing, and interacting directly with my AI agents?
That is a wild thought.
Right. Does the human economy just become a spectator sport while our digital assistants play the game? We used to worry about the calculator making us bad at math. Maybe the real question is, what happens when the calculators decide they don't need us to hit the buttons anymore? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you next time.
For more episodes related to media, social media, tech, and privacy, visit our YouTube channel, Independent Thinker LLC.